So during my wonderful time at my Oahu accommodation and some of the conversations I had with my wonderful host, I discussed that I didn't know where I was going to go next. And he said, oh, we have some friends and they have a place in Villamoura and it sounds exactly like where you'd like to go. I don't know that it was, but but then what I decided to do was, look, I didn't really know where I wanted to go, so I decided to book their accommodation direct. It is available on booking.com, but I didn't actually go through the site. And so I actually gave Betty back a day early because they were like, oh, we'll pick you up, because it wasn't that far from them, and which was really nice. And they were friends of his, but a couple that were, I think they were both lawyers. And one day that, I actually met up and had a quick chat. But again, there wasn't that friendly kind of thing. Again, maybe my expectations were wrong, but it just felt like I was being awkwardly accommodated, and I just didn't feel very welcome. That said, I can't fault the fact that they did pick me up and they were super hospitable. Until he rang me up drunk about the review, and then they pretty much just wanted me to leave the day I was leaving, and that was it. So it pretty much cruelled things, and I didn't think about the fact that it would have had an impact and he would do what he did, but he did what he did. So he further cruelled the accommodation I was at in Villamoura, which just made it so much more fun. Villamoura is very, comparatively to a lot of places I'd been in Portugal, my ex-flatmate would describe it as shishi fufu lala, which meant a bit more upmarket. Now, to look at the outside of the building, you'd be like, hell no, I'm in a council flat if it was the UK. It's not well maintained, but the actual studio wasn't too bad. It was definitely manageable and functionable. There was a lift in the building. I was close to a supermarket, and I was walking distance from most things. I was still about 20 minutes away from other things, and the beach wasn't close. So this was something I hadn't kind of taken into account. I wasn't necessarily going to sit on the beach, but it would have been nice as I've travelled more to have those kind of views and that experience. And of course, I'm in Portugal, which is what everybody goes to Portugal for. But so I spent my time in the accommodation because I was also working remotely at this point. I'd taken another contract. So I spent quite a bit of time in the studio, and it was comfortable. It was functional. I slept. It was, I could cook there. I could do the things I needed to do. So it fit the bill. So here is the accommodation tour. And I'll probably jump back in at the end with a few things I remember as well. So I have arrived in Villamoura, front door of the apartment. And I think, okay, and bathroom. I'm gonna try and, there it is. Voila, really lovely. Which is nice, lots of mirrors. And then you come into, it's a gorgeous little studio. So got the, when I asked about a cooktop, I don't know that she knows what a cooktop meant, but it's great. It's got exactly what I need. There's a fridge, supermarket nearby, TV. She actually turned it on to The Walking Dead by chance. I didn't choose it. Lovely couch, air conditioning, table with my bag on it. Really nice open space. And then into the bedroom. And then, so these would be great blackout curtains for sleeping. And then we go to the balcony. Yeah, can have a bit of a tea in the morning. And it just kind of looks out over buildings. Oh, so yes, as is a supermarket, which I'll go to. But yes, so that's the grand tour. Super excited. And welcome to 2.5 weeks in Villamoura. Beautiful. So this is the actual address, and if memory serves, I was pretty horrified when I arrived because it does look like a dump. And the actual area as well was just horrible. I really, really didn't like the look of it. Ironically, you go a street or two and it's manicured lawns, but this area was just kind of older, and a lot of the apartments had been renovated, thankfully, as you've seen, but the outside was just tragic, and it was kind of, yeah, downstairs it had kind of mailboxes. The lift was small but really functional, didn't break down, which was really good. And the air conditioning in the apartment worked really well, which was a key for the, middle of summer still. And wow, it's me looking super stylish, working remotely, dressed professionally, of course, wearing glasses that have now since busted but were functional. And basically I sat at the dining room table and worked a lot, which was really a bad idea because the kitchen was right behind me and I didn't even have to stand up to go to the fridge. Oh dear. Which brings us to the view. I spent little to no time observing. As I said, it was kind of uncomfortable out there because it was never cool enough. When it was, there were bugs. There were bugs all day. And so much construction. Portugal's just got a lot of construction, a bit like Malta, everywhere, so it makes it really, really hard. But, beautiful blue sky picture. So the accommodation at Villamoura, in comparison to the accommodation at the Seaview Guest House, was a palace. It was easy to look after, it was quiet, I was able to get rest, I was able to work, and it did everything I needed it to do. In terms of proximity, it wasn't in a nice part of town, but it wasn't in a unsafe part of town. So this was an area that was still needing some development. Villamoura itself, or Cratera, which is kind of the larger area, was a lot of development underway, as I often heard construction through the day. So, and you could see like a crane outside the window in one of the shots. So there was, there's still quite a bit going on in Portugal, things being bought into. There were tennis courts and nice manicured lawns in different parts of this area. And, it was still a walk to get to the beach, but there was kind of a town one direction, and it very much had like that old school Portuguese feel. And then you go the other direction, and you were pretty much experiencing like this Xixi Fufu Lala area, which was, around the marina, that had but a stack of places that were just tourist related. So it wasn't really, it was kind of a bit of a Disneyland holiday version, because it'd be like, oh, here's an English breakfast. So the accommodation was central enough, I suppose. There wasn't any public transport as far as I knew, but I didn't go any distance because I was working a lot. But I could walk most places, but it was still like a decent walk to go anywhere. It was the old traditional town that had the laundry as well, so I had to trek there and trek back. But it was doable, and there was a bit of a promenade. I went for a walk there. So Villamoura, quite an interesting, nice studio, and yeah, Portugal.